Hello, I'm ibxtoycat, and welcome back to my Let's Play world. Today, I'm working on perhaps the biggest project of them all, but a little bit indirectly. I think now I'm getting closer and closer to finishing my sugarcane farm, but one of the resources that limits me, if I were to ever do so, is obviously dirt. And given that the Let's Play is coming back, I figure, you know what, sugarcane would be a great way to do that. And so, let's go ahead today and let's find some dirt. How do you find dirt in Minecraft? I think it's far easier, like pro tip, if you ever want to get dirt in Minecraft, just go destroy a biome somewhere. Because, you know, there's a lot of fun things you can do with a destroyed biome. However, I'm going to be just destroying big piles of dirt because I think that this is a fun way to make some big splodges underground. And also it means I can get a bunch of dirt without having to worry about where it's coming from. Where does it come from? The big patches in the background. And hopefully we can make some value out of that. Speaking of value, so yeah, I'm gonna go finding dirt as much as I can, but we have to do so above Y0. This is one of those rare points where, you know, the deep slate layer of your world isn't gonna have better things for you, because instead, if you mine at deep slate, you won't find any dirt. Above deep slate, you will, which is an interesting difference because it's such a rare thing. Like, I'm talking about twice a decade that you need to go mining, you know, like for dirt underground. But being able to does actually make a big difference, and it's one of the complexities of the new mining system that I think a lot of people don't appreciate, but maybe they should. So I've got a big cave system down here that I bet I haven't taken all the dirt out of, and so today we make that big difference. It almost feels wasteful. It makes you wish that there were like dirt caves underground that you could specifically mine. But yeah, if we're lucky, we might find some diamonds. We might just get so lucky, but I wouldn't hold your breath for it. Also, I've got too many snowballs in my inventory. Don't question where they came from. So, Toycat, have you wondered how all that dirt got down there? You know, it is suspicious, huh? Makes you think that in Minecraft, at least, there might be some great creator, because there's not this much dirt randomly hanging out under the real world. I don't think. I think the regular world is like one of the most, I've looked into this because of tunnels and stuff. It's really interesting where they can and can't dig in the real world because there's really different quality of rocks and different firmness of rocks, and you know, I feel like everyone likes to imagine, myself included, that there's just one thing in the ground and it's ground and you can dig it up with a digger if you want to. But apparently, it is actually a lot more complex than that. But yeah, in Minecraft, it's not. You find the dirt wherever the dirt wants to be, and today we're going to be mining a lot of it to work on the sugarcane. It's going to be a lot of fun, and most importantly, gives us a stream that I think a lot of people value here, which is Minecraft and chill. I think we do a lot of hectic challenges where we're very, very focused on the game, and I think that's an important thing to do. It's a lot of fun, but I also think it's fun to have some time to chat and really talk about what's going on. I think the Let's Play has always been useful for me as an outlet for that sort of stuff. I think everyone needs a time and a place to just kind of chill and talk. It's the same with playing games with friends, I'm sure. That like sometimes you want to do this crazy active thing that everything's going on all the time, and sometimes it's like, let's just do something chill. I guess it's the same with just hanging out in general, right? Sometimes you want to be doing super active hangout, and sometimes you want to just be like, you know, wouldn't it be nice if we just existed in the same space for a bit? Although, you know, maybe not. Maybe that's a different point. Also, how is everyone doing today? I find dirt deep underground sometimes. I've never found it in the deep slate layers. Maybe I'm crazy for that, or maybe it's just way less common. I have not found it myself though. But yeah, look at this. It's like I'm in a biome right now with real dirt everywhere, but it's just hanging out here regardless, and so it's all for my taking. I'm gonna turn the snow into something. I need to really deal my inventory before I deal with this. So let's go do precisely that. But you can see, just digging around old caves, I'm gonna find dirt without really having to dig that far. It's kind of a fun idea, huh? Hello everyone, loving these surprise streams. Toycat says bird for life. This one was actually announced about 4 hours early, if you're curious. It's in, so I keep them in the unlisted live streams playlist. So if you're ever curious, like, is there a stream tonight? If you check like an hour or two before the stream, 90% of the time it will be there. But yeah, I hope everyone's doing wonderfully. I've been mining deep slate and tough lately. Got 13 double chests of deep slate and 6 double chests full of tough, ready for 1.21. Yeah, it's a fun idea, having the tough ready. I definitely am on that team. But also, it's like, this is how much tough I've got. So a lot less than you. Also, no work today. Friday is great, says Playgoo. Who doesn't work on a Friday? Wow, you live in someone's dream. I guess I work as many Fridays as I feel like, which means it's if you think about it, it's arguably better. But so Kat, do you like chicken nuggets? That's a fun question with a fun answer. So I'm gonna put all my snow in here. I forgot to do it earlier. I was reorganizing my inventory just before the stream, and I made a mistake, if you will believe it. So now we're going to just put my I have to get these somewhere, so I'll just put them in here. Wrong place for them. Definitely gonna regret doing it later. But right now, it's no big deal. So, please correct the title to digging instead of mining, says Fat Cats. No. How about I don't? Yeah. What are you gonna do about it? You wanna fight me? You wanna go? You think that's incorrect? Also, I think we're gonna make my camera just a bit bigger now. I think we downsized it a bit. While I had my green screen down, but we're gonna maximize it just a little bit now. So okay, is everyone ready? Is everyone ready for Big Toy Cat? It's gonna be big. It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be unimaginably big, chat. You gotta tell me that you're ready for this before we commit to doing this. There's no coming back once Toy Cat goes big. This is not what I expected, but I'm up here now. I'm down here now. Oh, that's someone else that's down there. Okay, so I actually can't do it while it's on my mini screen up here, so we'll just do it here. There we go. Just make this a little bit bigger. Okay, so... Oh, it's so hard to... There we go. I had the worst time doing that. It should be very easy to just maximize a window, but I did not have a good time. Okay, there we go. Hello, Internet. I have 490 members, and I'm very happy of that. Want to go punk? Because Toycat will take you there. Yeah, if you think it's not mining dirt, I've got a bridge I'd like to sell you. Mining dirt in my 2012 world. Because this is literally the dirt that I'm mining right now. It's all the original dirt that would have generated back in TU5, back in 1.8.2 beta. And so it's fun that we're like going back after all this time to just kind of destroy it, basically. It feels a little bit like we're destroying a museum or something, right? Like this should all be preserved. This is not the right area to get off. Is it over here, maybe? Yeah, this is the right spot. It does feel a little bit like this should all be preserved in some way because it's all old terrain generation. But also, a part of me is like, well, it's kind of fun to see what happens when you take old terrain generation with modern day habits. Which is why I'm always on the, I'm not going to preserve it. Also, whoa, title updated so fast, says Alex C. I'm always impressed with some things on YouTube live stream. There's a lot of things that never update, basically, till you refresh. And there's some things we're like, okay, we got this. We're gonna make it go, it's gonna be good. You believe the past should serve the future, right? Yeah, the past exists to get to the future. I think a lot of... I think there is a really interesting debate about whether the past has merit in its own right. And I think the reason a lot of people would feel that way, because it feels impossible to me to imagine that you would ever think the past is more important than the present. And that, like, some people will preserve the past at cost of the present. Like, they would rather people go homeless, hungry, whatever, so that they may preserve the past. But I guess the argument behind why you should care so much is because you expect... In the same way that, you know, like, some people care about homeless people, even though they are not homeless and will never be so themselves. Although, actually, you know, now that I say that, there's a lot of people who don't. But a lot of people, like, have a moment where they're like, whoa, anyone could be homeless, man. It's like, well, actually, you know, probably not, right? Like, most people have the support systems so that there is no good reason to be homeless. So that, but anyway, different point for a different time. But I do believe that the past exists to serve the future. And I think the only reason you wouldn't exist like that is because you worry, like, well, at some point, my present is going to be someone else's past. But I'm here in the past to serve you in the future, Internet. I am doing my best. I hope that I do a good job. And I don't think that is a necessarily thing to be ashamed of or a thing to feel bad about. Speaking of feeling bad, thank you, Playgoo! Chat! We're 10 members away from 500. If you have a few pairs of coins, please help get Toycat to 500. Please do. I agree. You know, I'm usually not one for e-begging internet. But let me tell you, I have never hit 500 members organically. We only count members because the gifted type doesn't renew. A whole thing. And in a time of extreme instability on YouTube, I don't know. I had like my worst month in like 5 years recently. It's cool to see that the people who are enjoying the content are here. And I want to say thank you to all the members that allow me to not go like, okay, well, I guess I gotta decide between, you know, like the mortgage and paying people this month. It's a whole scary thing. When you think about it, Toycat is technically 3 seconds in the future because of the stream delay. Yeah, I think it's more than 3 seconds. Wait, let's test right now. Chat, get ready to say the word that I'm about to type, or the word I'm about to say. Type it out as I'm about to say it, okay? Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Pineapples. Go, go, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so it's about 6 seconds, I'd say. But you could probably attribute some small amount of that to... I'm about 5 seconds in the future. Or rather, you're about 5 seconds in the future from me. Oh, that's weird to think about. Hey, thank you so much, Faircore, for becoming the 491st member. Thank you for choosing to do so. Yeah, at some point, obviously, like, the member count, like, will dip a little bit, you know, like, as certain memberships don't renew, etc. But being able to get to 500 would be real fun, right? I think that would be... I think it's a goal worth having, personally. By the way, one of the benefits... Okay, so... Some people would say that it's kind of like... I think there is a real... you know, you, in the way that you might argue that I'm, like, taking a perfectly preserved world and slowly destroying the dirt. One of the benefits of doing this is it means that any farm I make in the future gets more efficient.
You have a plate of eggs. What are you accompanying it with? Toast, beans, bacon, sausage, or nothing?
My favorite accompaniment. So if I'm making the eggs myself, like scrambled eggs, I usually kind of just like raw dog it. I think if it's like my ideal eggs, I really love eggs, salmon, and like some form of like decent bread, like maybe sourdough or something. But eggs and salmon works really, really well together. I know I'm a salmon fiend, a big salmon fiend. You might even go as far as to say. But yeah, that is in fact my belief. Also, I don't think I can use my Neverite shovel for this. It's gonna die if I keep doing this today. So let's go ahead and let's do it. My phone is almost 8 years old. My delay's ridiculous. It probably isn't your phone that's causing it. Like, unless the stream is buffering every 10 seconds, your delay is not based on that. It's probably based on something else to do with your internet. Just as a heads up. YouTube on Roku gets behind because after ads, it joins back the stream when the ads start playing, not the current live state. You know, I really do think, so this is a genuine, like, recommendation. A lot of people make fun of YouTube Premium. They're like, oh, but with Netflix, you pay the same amount and you actually get to watch it as opposed to not at all. It's like, if you watch a lot of YouTube, and I watch enough YouTube for it to be worthwhile, YouTube Premium is such a non-brainer. Because it's not just the equivalent of like, oh, it's Netflix, but you could watch it for free without the ads. It's like you get a Spotify in there, basically. You know, I have YouTube Music. So you get all of your music. Spotify costs basically the same as YouTube, plus the no ads, plus the background, plus things, you know, working. To me, it's a no-brainer move. And it does also support creators better. I'll be honest, it's my fifth priority that it supports creators better. And it sucks because, you know, I like to support the channels that I'm watching. But I know that you support them either way. But it's nice that you support them better and not the same or worse, in my opinion. I think that's the way I actually see it. Because I'm totally aware a lot of people find it to be a hard sell for, like, the nebulous idea of, like, oh, when I watch a video, the person gets 2 cents instead of 1. I kind of feel it myself. Like, most people feel like, well, it's either, like, direct or it's something or it's nothing at all. The same way you feel about helping most causes. You know, something that annoys me is, so I'm going, it's my, the mild debate internet, but when someone dies, what's more important, their birthday or their death day? And I'm going to it's my mother's would-be birthday soon, and the restaurant has this big thing about how, like, oh yeah, there's a £1 help for the homeless automatically on your bill. You're welcome. And, you know, I really look at that and I think, who feels like they're helping that way? Is anyone like, oh, well, thank God. Is it like a guilt thing where you're like, well, you know, no one can tell me that, like, well, there's people who are homeless out there while you're eating, you know, food outside at a restaurant. Also, for a mum, the most important day will always be your birthday, Toy Cat. Ah, thank you, Jeff Shannon. You know what? My birthday is the most important day. You're right. So that's what I will take from this. Yeah, I'm gonna be 29 this year, Internet. I don't think you're meant to talk about age that much. You know, everyone's meant to believe that I'm the same age or cooler than them. Also, this is a real weird little stream coming all out of nowhere. I think I'm gonna block it up though. As much as I love all that's coming out of this, and as much as I love all this iron ore that I picked up, I don't think this needs to be there. So I'm gonna go ahead and use a dirt block. Just make it not exist anymore. And then I'm guessing we're below the surface somewhere. Oh, we are. Yeah, so we'll make a... We can make this into a little tunnel or something. Like put some trapdoors above that. It might be fun. Yeah, you know, we might come back through and do that. Or we could go and get a shovel right now. Toycat is July month, says Joshua Lyles. Indeed. Also, it's an interesting thing, but actually, I wonder if it's an empty statistic to say, because I physically can't get ads in your videos. Wait, Dasher, if you're in Russia, you don't get ads anymore because of the thing? Wow, why isn't my country invading Ukraine? I'd get free YouTube Premium? Ah, oh, okay, I'm gonna send an email to my representative after this. I'm gonna make sure he knows my opinion on expansionary wars overseas. Yeah, more seriously though. Yeah, that is actually intriguing. I felt like someone said like their birthday ends once someone's dead. You can't really celebrate the death date. Maybe Mother's Day. No, something about that feels incorrect to me. Like, nah, yeah, you can't celebrate. You can't. I mean, like, this is a dark thing, but you know, like the idea of a birthday stops making sense. You're right, because it's not 60 years since a birth or whatever. Thank you, TMC. Been watching you since the console edition days. Thanks for the hours of entertainment. Thank you, TMC. I appreciate it a lot. I'm glad that you've been I hope, enjoying since those days. You've been watching and enjoying, or you've been watching and torturing yourself. Whichever one it is, thank you for doing so. I definitely do think the console days feel so nostalgic to me, even now. I feel like it's literally been the last couple years that I finally, like, found my footing in the Bedrock edition. I'm, like, comfortable enough with it. You know, the stat recently that, like, I played this world in Bedrock for longer than I played it on console. That one, like, blew me away a bit. But, yeah, it's fun to reminisce, for sure. Also, you've been surprised by the same fact multiple times over the years, says Dasher. Oh, it's one of my favorite things. There's a few facts that I'll never remember. It's a very nice thing to have, because there are some things that will surprise me again and again and again. And it's cool to... It'd be like... I would love to have selective bad memory. I don't know, like, I think it's really fun to re-experience a show that you haven't watched in, like, a decade. Because you know most of the pieces, but not, like, the precise order they're all going to happen in. So we definitely probably want Silk Touch. Do I have a lot of Curse of Vanishing Shovels, or just the one? Do you think I need a lot of them? You know, let's go ahead. Let's take an Efficiency 4. And then... Wait, yeah, let's take an Efficiency 3. Combine it with an Efficiency 3. If we can. I guess we don't have a decent one of those nearby here. We can just combine two together, I guess. There's nothing stopping me. Oh, this one, there we go. Okay. Combine these two shovels together. Yep, one, and now we got efficiency 4. And we combine these two shovels together. I'm not sure if we even need efficiency 5, to be totally honest with you. But I'm gonna go for it anyway, just in case. Hey,
do you
Raw
think there's a
Digging Eggs!
cutoff age for creating content online? I've seen some stigma against much older YouTubers.
I have not, actually. So raw dog and eggs. This is, again, admittedly, I think everyone sees what they're looking for with this sort of stuff for sure. Like, I would argue there's quite a few genres where there's stigma against younger people because the way it generally tends to work. Also, thank you. Message here, Diamond the Cat. I would say the way it generally works with at least trusting people in authoritative positions is you will trust anyone who is your age or older. Like, you know, to me, someone who is 18 or someone who is 12, let's go really crazy. Someone who is 12 doesn't know that, you know, like if they try to give me advice about like, oh yeah, Toycat, I would like to explain to you what something. You're gonna look at it and you're gonna be like, oh, this person doesn't know so many basic things that the real people know. You know, you get what I'm saying? Like you people who are younger than you sort of think of as like ridiculous. Whereas everyone who's older than you might think like, okay, boomer, but at least you're going to think that they are respectable, that what they're saying has some merit. I do think there's a certain age above you where you will distrust what they're saying if they're doing it in too old of a manner, if you can work out what that means, you know? Like, I think we definitely have a bias towards... I made a big hole here very recently. I just came out of it. Could not find my way back in, apparently. Over here? Yeah, here it is. Yeah, we have a big bias towards... Oh, no, I just put that there for a reason. We have a big bias towards people who are most similar to us. And so, so for an example, whenever I see that someone is about, let's say 50 plus, and giving advice on a really technical subject, either they know their stuff so well that they don't know why anymore, or they'll do the thing where they're like, well, my staff have been telling me that there's something called a YouTube that I need to upload to. So, you know, like, they'll use so many weird old words. Like, they'll say the word hits to describe how many visits a website has. And you'll be like, oh, you haven't updated your terminology since 2003. And so you probably haven't updated your knowledge. I imagine in the same way that if I refer to a bogged as a stray, in 10 years' time, you'll be like, oh, yeah, you learned to play Minecraft in 2015. And then you never bothered working out how it updated since then. Like, there's a certain amount of that to it. But in terms of, like, everything else, I think people do look for people who are most similar to them. One of the channels that shocked me when I was, oh, I really gotta not use this shovel. One of the channels that, like, blew my mind that it existed when I was first, like, kind of coming into the space, was there was a 6-year-old boy who would play, can't have been Roblox, but I guess he just played like big popular games, and he'd get millions of views on the video, and it would be really popular with other 6-year-olds. And the craziest bit is when you're 6, you're not allowed to have your own money, so his parents got all of it. I hope they did good stuff with it, personally. I don't know. I can only hope. But yeah, it's interesting to me that there were enough 6-year-olds who'd want to watch a 6-year-old play, because watching like a 17-year-old, like, what do they have in common? Toycat didn't even start the birthday joke today. Come on, guys. Happy birthday to Dasher. Accept the sanctions, so I won't finish the song. I hear it's dazed and confused birthday instead. Yeah, is the next Run Review stream next month? Doing Run Review as a stream, I'm not sure is going to be every month. Just to, you know, make sure you keep your expectations tiny. My next round review in March is probably going to be checking out people's nevers, if you're curious about the plans there. But yeah, also, there I go, yet another year older. Yeah, you're going to be alarmed at the rate you're aging. It's, I'd be concerned if I had that many birthdays in a week. Also, yeah, I think that the weird thing about like familiarity bias is it makes sense that people who are most similar to us share the most of our day-to-day life. So for example, like whenever someone who was like 40 would be like, I've been there, I've been sad at school, and you'd be like, yeah, so long ago, right? There's no way you understand exactly what I'm going through right here. You know, like it's at a certain point, your life experiences become so untangled that the only thing you share is that you are human. Like, I don't know, like, for example, my, you know, my someone who would be, so I'm just gonna stick to this for now, I think. Someone who served in World War One, for example, or World War Two, I guess it would be. Someone who lived under rationing has experienced so much in their life that you haven't. That, like, you trying to relate to, like, oh, must be bad that you just gotta come inside and you might die at any moment, huh? Oh yeah, I totally understand. It's like when I failed my maths exam and I thought my mother was gonna kill me. You know, it's something like that. Like, it doesn't. It's so unlinked that it stops having any meaning. There's no way someone from World War One is alive. I think either the last World War One person just died, or there is one left in the world. But yeah, I guess people have been alive since World War One. There are, I guess I should say that no one has served in World War One. But you get the idea that, like, people who have far enough away experiences from you, it stops being a good way to understand a problem you're facing right now. But also it becomes fascinating because it helps you understand the human condition. There are so many moments that happen in history that people are 100% convinced is like, wow, this is the only time this is happening. Do you remember when the Ukraine thing first started? There were lots of doomers who were genuinely sure, like, there is about to be a war. I am going to be conscripted. I'm going to be the first people to, you know, fight for a bit. This is, wow, it's crazy. The country is going to war for the first time since World War II. It's like, we are involved in so many proxy wars. It's just interesting that we're involved in another one, you know? Dirtcat is love, Dirtcat is life, Dirtcat is yes. Thank you.
Toycat tax. So, when are we getting a Digimon World 2003 stream?
There'd be 12 viewers, and everyone there would be like, oh, yeah, Toycat said that no one would watch this, and I guess he was right. And now I feel embarrassed for not realizing it. Yeah, Digimon World 2003 is the stuff. It's magical. It's what dreams are made of. It's such a long game too. Like they reused a lot of content by saying we're going to a different server and it's the same world but everything's flipped. It's such a long game, but I love the trading card game element of it. I love trading card game video games. It's such a dumb niche obsession of mine. So it's probably started by Digimon World 2003. Digimon stream, let's go. Okay, we're gonna get 8 people there. It's gonna be the best stream we ever do. Also, ooh, get some fun happening. Anyway, Super Mario for the N64 stream. Yeah, to be fair, I think that game has a huge fan base though. I think that's the big difference. But I think there were like half as many, like 2/3 maybe as many people came out to watch me play. I think it was Super Mario's 25-year anniversary, maybe 30-year anniversary. They re-released all the games, so I played through all of them. It was a lot of fun, by the way. I enjoyed myself. But there's something slightly different when they're re-released, and also they are much bigger games. That's the catch there, mostly. This is why you've got to have popular interests. If you have too niche of interest, eventually it just dies out. Because there's 5 of you in the world that enjoy it. And one of you has an aneurysm. One of you gets in a car crash. And then the other 3 just assume that the other ones are all dead. It's real terrible. Anyway, speaking of terrible, let's put my dirt away. I do like that we're getting a decent amount of it. It's surprisingly effective, actually. But yeah, let's go ahead, hit that button, and let's go. And destroy some more blocks. Gonna get my hands on so much coal at this point too. It's gonna be fun. I remember the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe streams when you started playing the new set of DLC tracks. Yeah, I used to stream a lot of Mario Kart as well, actually. I do think Nintendo games have they might be the closest, unlike a lot of other games, where, like, if you play Call of Duty, you probably play the other Call of Duties, and you probably play, I don't know, like, another first-person shooter game. Minecraft isn't really a genre. I would say the closest thing we have to that is, like, Terraria and Stardew Valley. But, like, you know, like, there's no easy to say, like, if you watch my streams and you like Minecraft, you might want to watch me play Stardew Valley, sort of, you know, like, there's no real equivalence of that. So I was quite surprised to learn, like, logically it makes sense, but the Nintendo to Minecraft overlap is huge. The number of people who are watching who are like, oh yeah, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, can't believe I missed that. It's fun. I watch you play Stardew Valley. Yeah, I love Stardew Valley, but I want to do a full, like, I need to play it all the way through as the JoJo people, and it's such a long game. It's engaging, but it's a long game, and also it's a very relaxed game, which kind of works out for and against it, right? Like, it's a game being relaxing means that it can be a really good stream game or a really bad stream game. Like, I think I'm pretty chilled and relaxed. Also, am I stuck in a dead-end cave? No, I'm not. It goes over here. Yeah, how did I get in here? I must have come from the ceiling somewhere. Yep, there we go. Yeah, will we be saying something different soon when 4J releases their secret project, do you think? Wow, hello. I think the 4J thing is interesting. Like, even if it's a direct Minecraft competitor, it's either gonna do, like, I think they are able to take a bet. Oh, interesting. I think they're able to take a bet as big as the one they're about to take, because if it fails, it fails. Yeah, it's fine. But I do think that, like, a game as big as, like, a block placing game where you get to be creative has a really narrow space where it can succeed. If you think about it, Minecraft was a very similar game to Infominer. No one has heard of Infominer to this day. Being able to take over for Minecraft means you can't just do most of what Minecraft does. You have to do almost everything Minecraft does and do something significantly better. I do think that, from what I saw, again, there are lots of things that I don't know if they are coming to the actual game, but from what I saw, I think they'll make some things that make people go, oh, this is something fun. I think they might connect to a whole new generation of people who, wouldn't have given Minecraft a shot for not being as action-filled or something like that. But yeah, also Minecraft should have an X-ray potion. That's not a bad idea, honestly. I think it would be fun. Maybe a bit too OP, but still fun. You know, OP and fun can be oftentimes related. I rewatched yesterday's stream, by the way. It was a ton of fun. I need to build a wind cannon when 1.21 releases. Yeah, it made me realize, like, okay, that was the stream where I realized that I'm not just going to want to casually farm wind charges. I'm going to want to collect thousands of them. I want to do really fun, wacky things with wind charges. I just need to work out how. I haven't got the answers yet, but I'm going to get them soon. So yeah, I think my new game, Minecraft with guns. You'd be surprised how many Minecraft with guns do exist. Because that seems like a unique enough idea to people. Okay, so I've got a bunch of coal. I've got a whole shulker box full of them. Let's load it in. Okay, the coal is already very much not in short demand anymore. That's good to see. Not going to be running out of torches anytime soon. That's also good to see. If you throw a wind charge at a nether portal, would it shatter? Do you think? I don't think so, but yeah, I guess logically you could argue it should. Also, yeah, would you ever stream any against Toycat? Yeah, it's been a while since I have. Maybe, you know, chat, you're convincing me. Maybe I should stream some Stardew Valley, huh? Has Nintendo made anything fun recently? Since Power World, I don't think we've streamed something else. It's, I like Minecraft a lot. It is my comfort game. Especially on a streaming sense. Like, being able to, like, make really good progress on a project I'm excited about, such as I am with the sugarcane farm. It's cool that I can do this casually while talking about, like, so how you know the universe is eventually gonna be gone, right? You know, like, everything that we see right here, everything we think we're leaving a trace on, it's gonna be gone one day. That's cool, huh? Can have a little moment where we realize that actually what we're doing now does matter. If the past is always in service of the future, then eventually one day the past serves the future, and the future is the heat death of the universe, and we'll feel really silly about it. Maybe that's why the present has inherent meaning. There's a branch of philosophy that's very, very heavy on the idea of hedonism, of right now, right here is what matters the most. You might hurt some people, you might do some things that aren't conducive to a good long-term life, but if you have a really good here and now, that will matter much more. And it's interesting because a lot of people who do that don't actually end up in the long term happy. there's a weird thing about the gap between happiness, like doing things that are like that bring you happiness and like long-term happiness. The difference is whether you can eventually like create that happiness, right? Also, I like your brain a lot, Toycat. Thank you. I'm sure I'd like your brain too. I haven't seen it. I mean, you now basically, you know, see people's brains in a good assisting capacity, right? Also, the present has meaning, and present means gift, and I'm Santa. You know, it comes up every time. It's interesting how much that Kung Fu Panda quote resonates with people, right? Like, I heard it for the first time, and it like sunk in with me too. You know, I'm 100% aware of what people are referencing when they say it. It's very interesting how some things will do that. Like, something that is semi-deep can sink in much more than something that is, like, fully sometimes. I think that is the beauty of the human brain, is we are both always hyper-engaged in thinking about what now is, and also very engaged. We want to engage on the deeper level of, like, but what is the purpose? What is the meaning? And I think the reason as to why. I think the reason that people will enjoy living... I think the reason a lot of people enjoy living lives that aren't about maximizing pleasure moment to moment... Oh, this links to here. Oh, that's handy, huh? I think it's because you're basically trying to teach your brain to create happiness itself. You're trying to do things for your mind that are conducive to the creation of more good feelings. In the same way that, I don't know, like instead of teach a man to fish and he'll have fish for a day. No, wait. Give a man a fish, he'll have fish for a day. Teach a man to fish, he'll have fish for like years, maybe. He'll have fish until his net breaks, maybe. And so, yeah, also, by the way, look how fast you get dirt. Like, we've been mining for like 30 minutes. I think I have a healthy amount of dirt. I might have too much dirt, all things considered. I'm gonna fill both these boxes in. This one, I've gotta work out what the rest of this is gonna do. Yeah, let's work it out. So, oops, shouldn't have done that. Also, we probably have to put this shulker box away. So let's do that too. Get an extra slot going in here. Okay, nice. And then this box is a bit confusing, but we can do our best. Gravel, gravel, stone, gravel, gravel. We'll move it all over into here. And then we'll have a slightly better shulker box, which we can fill with dirt. And then we should have enough dirt to do all the bizarre things we want to do. Also, yeah, I think that the reason it's important to people not to jump into your... I think the reason a lot of people don't do it is partially because genuinely it isn't enjoyable to them. I think for a lot of people, the idea of like, yeah, the most, you know, crazy hedonistic thing you could do actually wouldn't be fun for a lot of people's lives. Like, it would actively harm more than it might hurt. But I think even deeper than that, yeah, we're going to have a lot of coal by the end of this. I'm going to have to make some coal blocks. What am I going to do with the coal blocks? I don't even know. But yeah, the even deeper ideal than that is that... okay, so move these both up there. The even deeper ideal than that is that it matters to... In the same way that it matters to people, like, if I said to you right now, if you kill someone, I will cover it up, but you just got to kill a person, you have £1 million. You can have a year of holiday with that. Probably a lot more than a year of holiday. You'd have a lot of years of holiday. You could quit your job for a good decade, and as long as you're not... Like, what is 100,000 a year? That's £300 a day. You can live a crazy life for a decade for one murder.
What if the universe is eternal? Then what?
So that's an interesting question. If the universe is eternal, then it doesn't mean everything inside the universe is. There's a real argument that things could stop existing, then re-exist, but it's still...
How are you doing today, Toycat? How has your day been? Glad the prison's member number is giving you warm fuzzies. You are appreciated. Smiley face, thumbs up.
The
heart,
prison's member number?
Dog, cat, bouquet, rainbow.
Why is it the prison's number? Oh, right. Okay, I get you now. Took me a second. I was like, whoa, what prisons am I doing? Also, what about the taxes on that murder money? I feel like if someone can make murder go away, they can probably make taxes go away. Honestly, okay, I'm not gonna try this one. I'd be willing to bet that the joke is always like, oh yeah, it's actually tax fraud. The IRS is the other people who got Al Capone. They might have been the ones who got Al Capone, but in reality, right? Like, there are so many tax cheats that you are paying tax mostly because you believe it's a good thing. The system doesn't function if everyone tries to cheat it because of the number of people they audit and etc. Again, it's for better or for worse. If you win some gambling money and you don't declare it, so I think you pay tax on gambling winnings in some places, right? Anyway, speaking of some people, right? What's your opinion on the state of human consciousness and how technology has affected it since the beginning of the 2000s? I'll be honest with you, right? I think the amount of time that we spend happily engrossed in technology, myself included, I'm not going to be like, oh, it's children these days on their phones. I spend like 4 hours a day on just my phone, and how many hours a day do I spend looking at Minecraft? It's uncountable. But the fact that we are so happy basically giving over our brain space to some virtual thing, right? That tells me something very interesting. Oh, goddamn. That, like, I would have assumed that it makes human consciousness feel less like a deep and complicated thing, and more like oh yeah, well, we needed consciousness. We use consciousness to help us solve problems that help us survive better. But we can also use consciousness we can also basically turn off the smart bits of consciousness whenever we want. As I do, frequently. We're underdeveloped monkey people. Yeah, exactly. It's in the same way that a monkey can remember you're there when you're not, and the same way a monkey can remember that they've got to hit a button so that they get food. We've got similar things, just with more complicated structures around them. We're the only animal to create more complicated ideas. Maybe a prime example being great, political organizations, businesses, religions. We create the craziest concepts that, like a parrot just dreams of. But I think less about consciousness in the modern age than I think I would have otherwise. The real problem is they take the taxes out of my paycheck before I get it. Yeah, the fact that exists. Okay, so I heard an argument today that sat with me for a while, and it's that because in America they add the sales tax on afterwards, it makes it a lot easier, or rather a lot harder, to raise those taxes.
While we are asking the tough questions today, the McRib, is it really just overhyped and underwhelming?
Okay, so let's do it, Chris H. Let's address. I was about to dive into religion, the state of the world, but this is actually a much bigger question with a much bigger answer. The McRib is an interesting proof that if they had it on their menu all the time, they, let me use a case study. So, McDonald's breakfast is the stuff of legends. Waking up early enough to get a sausage and egg McMuffin, it's such a dream when I finally get to do it. To this day, there are good days in my life when I'm awake long enough that I'm, up. I'm up still when the McDonald's breakfast is rolling around. It's a good time, is what I'm trying to say. And so I basically got everything I can out of this place, by the way. But, we could go check the branches on the end. But the McDonald's breakfast was rolled out to be 24 hours a day in the United States it's about 5-6 years ago now. And since then, McDonald's came out and they admitted, yeah, we thought this would be a big boost to our sales. But what ended up happening is we get the same amount of sales in the rest of the day. Some of those sales are breakfast, some of them are dinner. But now we get fewer people coming in for breakfast because the breakfast has become less special. A part of the appeal of the breakfast was its limited time run. And you can see that with how McDonald's has adjusted since. Because now they try to be like, look, it's McDonald's chicken nuggets, but they're BTS flavored or something. We tasted every single member of that band, and we have found out the exact way that they taste. And it's fair enough. Power to McDonald's for that. And so the McRib is I think is the same idea. Also, in the UK, I don't know if they have this in the US. They have a Frank's Red Hot McSpicy. I want to try it. It's limited time, so I actually am going to have to make the effort before it's gone in a way that I might not otherwise. Anyway, so also I shouldn't be destroying these patches in the air, in the ceiling here. I'm going to try not to do that. Hey, thank you.
Opinion on Double Big Mac? I was underwhelmed.
Yeah, it's. I think okay, so McDonald's is they were the pioneers of like food science for fast food. Anything that's not permanently on the McDonald's menu, they know doesn't interest people enough beyond that first interesting purchase. This is why for years they did these special like one-off burgers that lasted for 3 weeks each. Because as fun as the pepperoni pizza burger sounds, it's just not very good. You don't eat one and then go, I'll have another one of these tomorrow. In the same way that you do with a Big Mac, right? Yeah, I think the interesting I think the interesting lesson from that is that there are products that interest people. Maybe if we tie it into YouTube, maybe it's like a video of a really interesting thumbnail where it doesn't not deliver on it, but it doesn't make you want to subscribe to the channel. Versus, there are some series that have been going for 10 years. I think, I don't know, Doug DeMuro is an interesting example of a channel. Just uses his iPhone. It's not high production value, but it makes people laugh, or it gives them something that they want from a channel. And so they continue watching it. And whereas there are some channels that are much more cyclical, much more based on what is here and now. I think maybe Mr. Beast is a fun example of like, yeah, the variability in how many people watch each of the videos is huge. It's like, yeah, if there's a good Mr. Beast one, you might watch it. But you're not like, yeah, I'd watch a bad Mr. Beast video. I'd watch one that didn't interest me just because, the personality interests me that much. It's probably something that I imagine he wants to change as a YouTuber. I imagine that's it's one of the priorities and why there's probably some amount of personability in there. But yeah, it's there's a big difference between being desirable and being useful, and that's where the McRib goes. And so to David Solomano's question, the double Big Mac is just like a bit. It's too much food and it's not the right ratio. I don't know why. Maybe it needs more sauce. Maybe it needs more like thinner patties. Maybe they should be smashed. I don't know what it needs to be fixed, but it's it's just an opportunity to make you realize, oh, this is a worse Big Mac, but it's still pretty decent, and so the Big Mac must be incredible. Whereas the McRib is something to pork prices. Every time they go down, they buy them. They don't make them in the UK though, which is interesting. I think I'm betting in Europe we have like floors on the prices of pigs, price floors, so that because I feel like in the Europe we're very pro farmers should never lose any money. They operate businesses that deserve to only make profits forever. It's a whole interesting thing. But yeah, should we go up here? Let's go up here. I was asking to be a smartass, but man, well said. You're welcome, Chris H. Yeah, if you need opinions on a fast food item and how it correlates to the wider desire pattern of humans, think about it. You send me a tip. I'll give you all you need. Because like, fast food is. People think of fast food as being cheap. And yeah, it's designed to be cheap because that's the cheaper something is, the more people can buy it. But don't think that it's cheap to develop. Every smart business does this. You scale your... there are two costs to running a business. One of them, I think this is really basic. Like, it's like, this is business I learned in year 9, but I don't think everyone studies business. So every business has fixed costs and they have variable costs. If you run a factory, that factory has electricity that's required to keep the lights on, regardless of how many units you use. You have to pay rent in the factory, because you can't build units without a factory. Whether you're building 1 unit or 1,000 units, if it's in the same place, it's the same rent. It's a fixed cost. And then your variable costs go up per unit. So every time you bake a cookie, you use 50 cents of dough, wheat, sugar, cocoa beans, whatever it is. So the variable costs of most businesses, like to make cheap goods, you usually have to have cheap at both. But if you can get enough scale, you can have really high fixed costs as long as you have really low variable costs. That's how Ryanair can sell, seats so cheap in Europe while still having it like the best airline website in the budget airline space, in my opinion. That's how it is that McDonald's can have items that are genuinely really delicious and then sell them to you for, like, I don't know, a couple of dollars or something. It's because it costs them next to nothing to make another one, if you get it. Like, it's called the marginal unit cost of production. The extra unit of Big Mac doesn't cost McDonald's $2 to make. it costs them, you know, like it costs $1 million to develop the recipe, and then 16 cents to make each one of them. Pizzas are the craziest example of this. Like a pizza, like to, you know, to have a pizza oven and to like have like pizza delivery people and all that stuff. Yeah, pizzas are expensive businesses to start, but they cost, every additional pizza you make is basically free. That's why so many pizza places do buy one, get one free. A part of it is also that like it makes people feel good when it's buy one, get one free, but they cost double as much, basically forcing people to buy two. They're like the pizza I live near. I really like Pizza Hut. I live near a Pizza Hut. It's a nice restaurant, and they'll do. I hate thick pizzas, but I love Pizza Hut. I have to admit it. I'm sorry, internet, but I like Pizza Hut, and I cannot lie. I love thin crust pizza in every other context of my life, but Pizza Hut just gets that base real good. And so they do a deal. It's like, yeah, one pizza's like £23. 2 pizzas is 25, and you get 4 for 40 or something like that. The cost per pizza scales down because for every additional pizza they convince you to buy, it's just all money made for them. And from an end consumer perspective, it feels weird, but it's because of that. Like, yeah, they need to pay their costs whether you come here tonight or not. But now that you're already here, buying an extra one if you weren't already going to, that is pure profit. There's a lot of weird things like that lead to interesting business decisions. So a place I really like, a falafel place, it's like £6 for a really good falafel wrap. And they're like, or it's, I think it's £6 if you want just 6 falafels. It's kind of expensive. I don't know why. Maybe to make you buy a wrap. But if you already buy a wrap, then you can have an additional 6 on the side. I think it's 75p. It might be £1.50 or something. It's like, yeah, well, if you already bought something and we've already made the money, if you could buy a second thing, great. That's why so many buy one, get one frees exist. Is because even if you go there with a friend and convince them to come, it's a second person in the business. It's if it makes more people buy it than would otherwise not, they're still coming up ahead. This is kind of weird, right? Speaking of kind of weird, at least I have Pizza Hut as I wrote it. Yeah, Pizza Hut's very good at expanding across the world. They sell people on the American dream of pizza, and it totally works for them. Give credit where it's due. So, yeah, to go back a few sentences, probably more than a few sentences. I think finding meaning is one of the hardest actual challenges in the world. Is because you know, we can say that as much as we like that our present needs to be about making the future better. But that doesn't make you want to do it. That doesn't make, you know, it really easy to do. Also, I think this might be a full shulker box. Yeah, it is. Wow, that's nice. So we'll now open the second shulker box. See what we can load into there. So this is the bit of a messy one, but it's fine. It can fit some dirt in there, and we'll load it up with a ton. Any more foreign McDonald's review videos coming soon? Says Joshua Lyles. If you want a spoiler. And I'm guessing you do, based on the fact that you just asked. I think I'm about to go to the most expensive McDonald's in the world. I think I'm gonna be there like 2 days from now, 3 days from now. I don't look into it. The day before a flight, I'll get a notification and be like, whoop. In this case, I got a notification today that said 3 days away, but that was this morning, so I guess like it. Anyway, it was a. I'm excited. I am very excited, internet. I'm gonna go somewhere very expensive, but just for a day because it's too expensive. I think it's Switzerland. I should fact check on it, but it's definitely the most expensive McDonald's I've been to. We'd have to check it on the Big Mac index to be sure though. I think I might get banned for this, but I don't care about pizza. Like I'll eat it if I'm hungry, but I would never order it myself. You know, this is how we can tell you've never lived a life of hardship. You've never enjoyed food in your life. You might be an NPC dasher. It's worth checking on right now. Like, you know, if you don't get joy at the idea of pizza being ordered, you might not be a real human being. It might be that you were made by a carpenter in a warehouse somewhere, and you just, you know, like every time when you lie, does your nose get bigger? because it might be that you're not real on that level. Anyway, so with that said, I think I think pizza is the most loved food in the world. Even people who don't like pizza are usually like, yeah, but I like it when it's like this. I met one person in my life who was like, yeah, I really just like a plain cheese pizza. Can't really do anything else. And that was disappointing, let me tell you. That was the weirdest thing. Like, people have undeveloped taste palates, and that's fine. You know, also, there's a chicken here. Did I leave my shulker box up there? I left 2 shulker boxes up there. Guess I'd really better go back now, huh? But look how much dirt is just hanging around in this world. I'm excavating it all solely so I can make a very beautiful farm here. Texas Toy Cat says, frog in a mine cat? I don't know why you'd say Texas Toy Cat. He certainly was not here until just now. Hope you're doing wonderfully, by the way. Speaking of wonderful, pizza was refined by American immigrants to New York, which is weird because of its Italian association. Yeah, as far as I understand it, pizza wasn't very popular in Italy until it became popular in America. There's a lot of this reverse culture. I don't know what the word for it is, where something becomes popular in America to represent a culture, and then that culture starts doing it back home too. It's a very interesting, like, power the United States has, culturally speaking. Like, a lot of people think that America's biggest power is its, military or the dollarization or whatever. I think it's definitely the fact that, like, American movies are watched around the world. Every country has, like, yeah, well, there's, like, domestic movies and then there's American movies. Maybe you got some foreign films, people who are snobs, but it's usually just those 2 categories. And that is beyond fascinating to me. How much the world just knows about America, to the level that some people know about their own country from the perspective of America more than they know about their own country, right? Maybe pizza isn't very good in Russia, but I'm definitely, I'm definitely Pinocchio. Yeah, when you said pizza wasn't very good in Russia, I could tell that your nose was growing much bigger. I bet you have good pizza in Russia. There's famously the Gorbachev pizza ads there. If you don't know this, internet, there's about 5% of you that are listening to this that'll appreciate. If it's not you, just don't worry, I'll move on very quickly. But there's an ad, Gorbachev, the last supreme leader of the USSR, like, you know, the world's second superpower at the time that it dissolved. When Pizza Hut came to the USSR, he was already broke because his pension was in rubles and they went for a hyperinflation, but it wasn't an inflation-adjusted pension. Mistake, by the way, huh? But, yeah, he was so impoverished that he did a Pizza Hut ad, and the ad's just him being like, look, we all disagree about the Soviet Union, but we all agree that Pizza Hut is great, and I just cannot imagine that going. Also, are there even other countries? Says David Solomano. I mean, as far as most Americans are concerned, the other countries exist solely so they can have cuisine to bring to the United States. That's the whole reason, you know, all those people live in that one country in Southeast Asia. It's just so they can one day bring their food to the US and slightly Americanize it so that it's tasty to an American palate. Ooh, if that's not the way the world works, then clearly they don't want to know how it is. Also, when I was in high school, there was a guy that memorized the entire USSR national anthem in Russian and sang it in the quad. I'd sing it right now, but I think I'd get copyright struck. Okay, that's a copyright strike already. I'm sorry. I can't do Russian. I tried to learn like a decade ago, before I went to Russia. Actually, that's a good song. Yeah, it's pretty good. You know, ask Dasher to sing it. Sounds like speaking in reverse. You know, you're right. Actually, now that I was listening to it, I was like, this doesn't quite sound foreign. It sounds like I'm speaking in Tenet or something. I think Russian's one of. Oh, diamonds, chat. Should we take them? Do we need any diamonds right now? We should take the diamonds just in case. We don't need them now, but we might need them in the. Oh wow, chat. 2012 diamonds. Look how many I got. I got undeep slate diamonds. What a treat. Very nice. Gonna need another shovel soon. Yeah, I'm impressed. I really am gonna kill an entire shovel today. Wasn't what I expected to do this morning. I woke up and I did not think I'd be committing shovel murder. But we all wake up sometimes not expecting to commit murder. And some days someone offers you £1 million. And what are you gonna do, you know? What are you gonna do? So yeah, just to show you, just to check. I believe, can you even find dirt in a lush cave biome? But yeah, looking down here you can see it's tough. Okay, that's nice. It's deep slate. Okay. It's tough again. It's deep slate. It's deep slate. I didn't see any dirt, chat. I looked for a lot of dirt, and there's definitely no dirt here. What's the drink today, Toycat? I bought some juices recently. They gave me a really good deal, you know, or rather a deal. You know, we've spoken about the way that marginal consumption works. But there was a juice I really enjoyed. It was like a lemonade, or rather, no, basically they made Sunny D flavored orange juice, which I might just be orange juice. But it was really, really good orange juice. It had some cherries in there. It was nice. And so I went to buy their juices, and they're like, you know, you could buy a whole juice cleanse worth of juices for just a little bit more. And so they've given me a bunch of weird juices that I'm trying one by one. It's nice. They've got one of those hydraulic presses. And they've got all the ingredients that you haven't heard of, but they insist they're good for you. It's like spirulina. Oh, yeah. I love me some spirulina. Couldn't tell you what it looks like, but I know it's blue. It's so blue. It's the bluest ingredient you'll ever see. Also, I think I've been through this cave to destroy dirt. I think it might have been earlier today. Also, no, not Silk Touch. Not another item in my inventory. When you're starting your own riff on the hydraulic press channel, I don't want to say this out loud. I don't want to tempt anyone or make anyone think about something unpleasant that they won't enjoy thinking about. But I'm gonna level with you, right? I would want to put my hand in a hydraulic press. If I owned one, it would be a matter of time until I was like, come on, just a little bit. I would start putting glasses at, like, I would just put dangerous things in a hydraulic press. It's all powerful, and I can't be trusted with all powerful. I mean, the first time I learned how lighter fluid work, I got a permanent burn on my arm. So I don't know that I could do. I don't think that I could do a hydraulic press. I'm too curious of a person, and that's okay. Being curious is a valid personality trait. We're all a little curious about something, you know? We're a little curious about what happens at the end of the world. Will there be an end of the world? Why is pizza bad in Russia? We've got all these questions, but no good answers. It's important to understand when you shouldn't be trusted with power. Yeah, it's a weird thing for a lot of people, I think, that knowing when you shouldn't do something is kind of hard, because I think for a lot of people, they'll use it to be overly cautious. I think it'd be worth trying a lot of things once, but it's also worth knowing, like, pretty quickly whether, like, oh, this is a real great thing, this can go a lot better for you, or whether, like, oh no, this is dangerous. Like, I think so bear in mind I'm British and Irish, right? So this goes without saying. But I'm pretty sure alcoholism runs in my family. But like the casual alcoholism, where you alcoholism, where you pretend it's not happening. Pretend it's not happening. Sound like I'm an alcoholic right now. But yeah, it's like a. Oh, look at this! Isn't this nice? But yeah, it's like that type, you know, where you're like, oh yeah, I just have like a few each day just to like calm the nerves, stop the jitters and stuff like that. Anyway, so it's very weird, this spawner. I have to say, I'm gonna choose not to acknowledge it, but it is very odd. I hope we can take a moment and we can all appreciate that it is quite odd. But yeah, there's a Toycat can't words right now. I literally can't even words. You're right. Can't even. The same. Bro does not know the beef between the British and the Irish. Well, first of all, if I'm both British and Irish, I'm allowed to not know the beef. But I know it's First of all, we're like the two most similar countries on the planet, right? Like, but even if we weren't, it's the point was to say it's the same in terms of like relationship with alcohol, for better or for worse. The stereotypes about Irish people drinking and British people drinking, the fact that you can barely tell the difference between a British pub and an Irish pub when you go around the world, Spawner doesn't exist if you don't look at it. Yeah, it's that's the useful thing. Toycat 1, you South Asian. I'm South Asian. You're allowed to be lots of things. No, I know I sound like an American who's just done a DNA test. I'm like, 3/16 Portuguese. I think that is me, by the way. Or like 1/16, I think I'd be. I think I looked into it once. I'm only one generation removed from being eligible for Portuguese citizenship, but I'd also have to learn Portuguese. So I'm one generation and a lifestyle change away from being Portuguese. Anyway, there are a few British Irish people who drink. Indeed. Do you think Irish reunification will happen in our lifetime? No. I think I think that while it is a divisive topic, you just get closer and closer to it within the current framework that exists. You know, so again, so just brief for anyone who doesn't know the situation. Ireland is a place that existed as part of the United Kingdom. Existed before it was part of the United Kingdom too, but it existed in the United Kingdom for hundreds of years. Then when it left, the UK split it in two because there were a lot of Scottish settlers in one half of the country, and those Scottish settlers wanted to stay part of the UK. So they split Ireland in two. They made up an entity that previously had never existed called Northern Ireland. And so that Northern Ireland had a lot of troubles, a lot of terrors. They negotiated with the people who were doing the terrors, and they said, how about if we all just agree to make a nice political system where everyone gets represented, then we all won't kill each other. And they said, sure. However, since then, Ireland has grown a little bit closer towards feeling like they might go into one place. But I don't think that makes it like a guaranteed likelihood or anything like that. I think it's just like, oh yeah, it's moving faster in that direction than it previously was. But I think a lot of people doubt the... like, it's nice to think about countries leaving and going independent all the time. It takes a lot of work to stop being a part of a larger country and go independent, especially when you're being subsidized by that country. Like, you know, it's the same thing as, like, it's really easy to move out when your parents are dysfunctional and, you know, all that noise. Like, it's easy to move out if your parents are abusive. But when your parents are actually pretty nice and you don't have any other source of income, you know, if you don't have a job, it's quite hard to move out, right? It's a lot harder. It's a similar thing. So what if the UK joined Ireland, though? Yeah, that's the much more fun idea. You know, let's just join Ireland. We could make the shared new parliament in London. We could give them some seats in our parliament. It's a really great idea. Someone should shoot that over to the Irish. I'm sure they'd love it. But yeah, all this family history talks make me feel better about my American heritage obsession. You know, it's one of those things that just doesn't really... It's weird, because I guess I get it, that, like, for most people, if you care about your family heritage, you can be like, oh yeah, your granddad is Bob the Builder. He built all these houses here, he did. And you hear something like that, and you're like, wow, our family's been doing cool stuff forever. But if you're American, it's like, oh yeah, my dad's from Orlando, Florida, but he's probably not. I think he moved there from North Dakota, and his dad came from Norway, and so that's not that inspiring of a story. Except that means that you're Norwegian, and that's kind of like a fun way to be like, yes, from Norway. I know, it's an interesting point. So I feel like using a wind charge and a torch flower should make it glow. You know, at this point, are we getting this desperate to make the torch flower work as intended? Are we like, if we just do this and then do that, maybe it'll work correctly? Maybe, just maybe. We can believe. Philosophy Toycat is back. Did I get into Philosophy Toycat again? Sorry, internet. Let's go back onto strictly not philosophy. So, weather's pretty good outside now, huh? No, I do think that the reason that it's always going to circle back to philosophy accidentally or on purpose is basically because of the... Oh, should we dig all of this, actually? I should not have dug all of that. That was a bad idea. I'm going to place those blocks back. It's going to be fine. No one's going to notice that there's water over there. So I'll remove some of this dirt. I'll put 2 dirt back there. Yep, okay. And then we'll just put a block there. Now we remove the block, and there's no more issue. Let's not do that one again. Also, hello, Deshi. Good to see you. We need a wither zombie in Minecraft. Would be a good idea, huh? Maybe a zombie skeleton villager too, or a skeleton villager. I don't know what it'd be, but you know, when a Fletcher is bit by a zombie, he should turn into a villager, or turn into a zombie style thing. I'm just lurking as I'm on an expedition in Minecraft, says Hannah Joyce. Oh, good luck on the expedition. Where are you headed to? Yeah, I think, man, bedrock water is a pain to deal with. You know, the trick is you don't deal with it. You never deal with it. Speaking of never dealing with it, I am what I told you. My grandpa came here from Russia, and I only learned that at his funeral. I always thought every one of my grandparents was German. German and Russian, huh? Your grandparents had an uneasy alliance with each other that led to one of them betraying the other. That's the only conclusion I can lead from your heritage here. Yeah, I do think there is something weird about learning about heritage from funerals. I only learned, I decided to put the effort into learning about my grandparents semi-recently. Because I learned from, I had a great-grandparents funeral, and I was like, oh, weirdly, like, I thought it really, like, blew me away to learn that my, not only, like, my granddad was born in London, I never knew that. But then, like, also on the other side, it was also true. And it's like, oh, all these people put all this effort into, like, leaving London, and then, like, all these years later, I'm just moving right back in. There's something fun and beautiful about that, if you ask me. But, yeah, it's something, it was weird to me, like, learning that my, I don't know, my great-grandmother was, like, one of 11 children, was in the Blitz, that is the bombing of London by the Germans. So, like, oh yeah, every day had to just come inside, hope the bombs weren't gonna kill her. It's like, man, that's gonna mess a person up. That's probably gonna mess a person up. Just a little bit, right? Just the tiniest bit. So, how's Far Cry going, says Piano Man Streams. I found out yesterday, I've been playing it for over 25 hours now. It's real weird. Because I wouldn't even say it's that good. I found out something about the game that I love. It is one of the things that makes me gush about video games. But the ending to Far Cry is one of the, like, they did a cool secret ending in Far Cry 5, and they've done a cool one in Far Cry 6. And I just enjoyed it so much. It made me so happy, so pleased. One of my several great-grandparents from 1710 was the Prince of Transylvania. See, everyone loves a good bit of heritage. It's fun to realize that you came from something. Or maybe it's not. Maybe you all should hate that. The Great Depression plus World War II severely jacked up a large percent of the people who survived it. Yeah, it's like a generational trauma, right? Like, and in the real sense of that word. Also, any traveling tips? You know, let's go for advice, Toycat chat. Let's do a moment. You got any advice you need? I'm gonna give it. Drunk Lily says, any traveling tips? Oh, it's Drunk Lily. Wait, I think unless you're just the second person with a username with Drunk in the last year. Good to see you, Drunk Lily. You're going for 6 months to Egypt, parts of Europe, US, Canada, and Mexico. Okay, so Drunk Lily, it sounds like you're a lady. I'm just making that guess. Sorry if I assumed wrong. And so you'll be entirely fine in anywhere in Europe. To be totally honest with you, you'll do entirely fine in Canada for the vast majority, right? You can be great. You do like the same with the US. With India, Mexico. So with India and at least like, do you say Egypt? Egypt is meant to be one of the most nightmarish countries to travel in solo. And then even worse if you're a lady. Like, sometimes people will just be like, I am picking you up now. And that is how they meant to, like, that's how you pick up, like, you know, when you pick up girls at the bar, it's usually figuratively. That is not the way that I understand that it is done in Egypt. So keep that in mind. Important. You might make you feel better if you at least understand it prior to going in, like what to be cautious of. Maybe have like a person. No, I'm the same person. Okay, I'm glad. I'm glad it is the same person. Well, I hope you've kicked your alcoholism, or at the very least, I hope that it's led you to the sorts of wealths that allow you to travel the world for 6 months. By the way, really, that's a really cool sounding trip. Far Cry streams when? Yeah, actually, I do think people might have enjoyed Far Cry streams. I think it's like a goofy enough open world game. They can have a lot of fun playing it. That's what I do. I just every evening for the last like couple weeks, I just play like 40 minutes to a couple hours of Far Cry. It feels weird because I play video games for my, you know, the air quotes job. And so it's weird like to recover from it by playing games. But yeah, I love playing a bit of Far Cry in the evenings. So your channel is daying, says Yasar Boob. Ooh, I hope at night times sometime soon. Yeah, the channel is I think we're down about let me do the maths. About 25% on a average month right now. And you know, like the average month I do look at that and I say that's concerning. But also I look at broader YouTube trends, and most Minecraft YouTubers are doing poorly. There is the occasional one that's doing pretty well. That's still no excuse. I'm trying to do my... I think there are lots of things to learn. We're making the best videos we can. But ultimately, yeah, that's how it is. I'm not ashamed of it or anything. Valley, have you considered reviewing some Java worlds on Realm Review? Be a bit careful in Canada. Yeah, you might get shot by a moose. That's a real concern you gotta watch out for there. Never ask a man his salary, a woman his age, or Ubisoft why the comments are disabled on the Far Cry 5 soundtrack. I want to know why the comments are disabled on the Far Cry 5 soundtrack. What's the... you know, I'm not going to ask. I'll have to ask at some point. Did you enjoy your trip to Leicester? What was the purpose of your visit? I've gone to Leicester quite a few times. I've got a few friends in the area. It's always been one of my closest big cities that isn't London. So, like, when I live not in London. And now it's one of the closest cities, just in general, I guess. Moose are no joke. Yeah, if you don't watch out for the meese, you'll be in trouble. So now we're going to go down into a different part of the caves. Just for a little bit. Actually, you know what? I'll go place my dirt and go destroy some... I'm going to do a little bit of destruction. Just a little bit. Using this pickaxe. That's where the dirt is going to go. Have you been anywhere up north, says Izag Gonzalez. Yeah, I've been to York. That's one of my favorite cities up there. I think I'm gonna go to Manchester. So I've heard a lot of people have been saying like, yeah, Manchester's like UK's second city. It's like almost like a London now. And as someone who likes London, who finds that there is no cities that rival it, I'm excited. Probably overhyped, but I need to find out for myself. Yeah, there's a lot of dirt here. But I'll ignore placing it, because I've got this big area to destroy. And we'll see if we find any dirt down here, huh? I mean, I'm sure I would see some dirt somewhere around if so, but we won't.
Do you feel you are not the main character and could be a NPC? If so, call 1-800-AM-I-A-NPC to seek help. Disclaimer, pizza and or help are not guaranteed.
You know, it's a... people say like, oh yeah, you're literally an NPC is like an insult. But there is a much deeper idea in there, right? That we are all the main characters in our own stories. But whether we value our own stories or other people's is actually up for debate. Like, a lot of people do feel like their story is about helping other people. And so, like, you know, like, in a way, like, you are willingly being an NPC. Whenever I shop any of my friends, so I've mentioned this before, but something I like to do when I'm walking around in public Chat, you can judge me for this, or you can not. It's your call. But something I like to do is I like to have really weird conversation hooks. So we'll just be talking, you know, kind of casually, and I'll be like, yeah, and that's why I think that, you know, and that's why I think that murder should be legalized, you know, or you know, we'll be walking along and I'll be like, you know, I've always thought the bananas are just such a attractive fruit, you know, so I like to have some weird things so that people walking past will just be like, what did I just listen to? I like to be an NPC in other people's stories. I imagine that all of you watching right here have a similar thing. You know, Drunk Lily, you tuned into the stream, right? You popped in. Hope everything's going well if you're doing on a 6-month trip. It even means things are doing really well or things are doing really not well. Hope it's the good version. But I am an NPC in your life. I am an NPC in Blog 33's life. I am an NPC in Depower Player's life. And Ryan and ibxtoycat. You all have your own lives, and I represent a small part of that. Even if you watch every single video, I'm still a couple of hours in your day, some days, right? And as a result, you know, I'm not really the main character for you. And it really, if you think about it, the more people you know, the more you are just an NPC. The more you are just a person mixed in there. I searched up Hope County, the location of Far Cry 5, and there's a lake called Hope Lake, and a comment that said they were chased by a cult, and it was commented before Far Cry 5 released. Oh, that's cool. That's clever marketing, or a crazy coincidence, or maybe the inspiration for the game. Who's to say which? But yeah, speak for yourself. My life is still being built. You know, build a good life, Ryan. Build a good life. I think that ultimately you get to decide, because stories are a really powerful thing that we tell as humans, and we get to decide what character we want to be in everyone else's story. You get to decide if you want to be an off-to-the-side character, or if you want to be a really, really important main one. Those are your decisions to make. You get to choose when you're going to do so. And so it's freeing in a way to think about yourself that way. I used to remember thinking, like, one of the cool things about if you were to move school mid-school year is you'd get to reinvent yourself because no one would know who you were. How predictable are most people, says Abed Islam. I think that it would be fair to say that most people are like predictable within bounds. Like you think of yourself as being a very deep-led, multifaceted person, and then a lot of people think of other people as being like, oh yeah, well they're really easy to understand. But like I would say, actually looking at it, the way that you can understand someone else is the same layer that you can be understood. You just want to, at any time you can be understood the same way. You can understand yourself the same way you choose to understand other people, but you would immediately reject it for being too easy. There are some questions we don't bother asking because we don't want to know the answers. If we ask the questions, we know the answer quickly, but we know by avoiding asking it, we don't have to worry about the answer. I'm gonna make a little hole through here so I can place some more dirt on the ground. Yeah, we'll have these bottom layers built in right now. Also, give me dating advice, Toy Cat. I wanna find a rich Persian man who won't sell me. See, Drunk Lily, I hate to tell you, I think you're doing pretty well for yourself. I mentioned earlier that you'd have to have £1 million to go on a year holiday, and so that means you have a $500,000. You're doing great. You don't need a rich Persian man. Yeah, the easiest dating advice for guys is like, go find a thing that you like doing, go find people there who also do the thing, and get to know them, and then see if you eventually, you know, maybe just maybe, if you eventually get on well enough to decide you want to spend your entire lives together, or I don't know, whatever it is, whatever the goal of dating is. I think the idea of being in a story is just inherently human. We look at the world through plot points, and books are just an expression of that fact. Yeah, the idea of this story is something that is incredibly human. You're right. we tell almost all of history partially through facts and figures, but just as much we'll tell history through a story. The folly of Napoleon. The reason that all of Europe isn't French is because Napoleon wanted to invade Russia, didn't realize that you couldn't invade, you know, like, didn't get it done before winter, and Russian winter killed all of his men because no one was prepared for Russian winter. That's the very short, simplified version of what went wrong there. The actual story is much, much more, but you need to have like a simple, what can you learn from that thing that went wrong? It's the same way, like, if I was to tell, we'll tie this to the other thing, right? If I was to tell a story about my dating life and what went so horribly wrong in it, you know, it'd be a very long story, chat. But, if I was to tell a story, it would be, the benefit would be to simplify down some useful anecdote of what went wrong. Okay, I've actually got some chests here. So let's go ahead and let's use them, shall we? Yeah, look at this. Chest over here. Put some chests on this too. Yeah, chests for everyone, I reckon. Now we can unload this. Put it all in there. Yeah. Maybe Napoleon wanted to lose. You know, it's even alternate stories though, it's still doing the same thing. Like, if you don't like the lesson that a story tells you, like, I don't know, I feel like even the pandemic, it was a whole 2 years of us being really dumb as humans, right? And just not understanding, but feeling the need to do something. But still, I think people would look back at the pandemic with two entirely different sets of eyes and ears, I guess. People would look at it and say, either, like, wow, can you believe people didn't understand the rules so early on and we spent years having to explain them to them? Or people would look at the pandemic and say, oh yeah, that's when the government just realized that they could have control over people if they just said it was for their own safety. And they just kept making up ridiculous rules to see if people would follow them. And, you know, like, those are just two examples. You could tell a trillion stories of the same thing. But even the same with, like, to use the dating example, I had a date that went really badly, right? I've briefly told the story before. It's the salmon story with the hill. But the thing I could take from that date was, like, even though there's a lot more things that went wrong, the real lesson is, like, communicate clearly about your expectations for each other. And, you know, like, there's a lot of times where you think to yourself, like, I just won't talk about this, we'll just brush this off. But really, you shouldn't just brush it off. It's a good idea to have a chat about it before it spirals into something much, much worse. As did in the case of my my date. A bidet company just sent me an email of the subject, post Valentine's Day cleanup, and I don't think that at all. Very fun. Was the Mexican bus story also a date? The Mexican bus story. Actually, no. It was there was someone who was in Mexico with me, but they were not on that date. That was all me. That was a date with destiny. The Mexican bus story. Also, salmon are real. Yeah, salmon is one of the best fish too. I will simp for salmon all day, every day. Let me do it right now, chat. Smoked salmon. It's just so good. It's so ridiculously good. There's a reason it costs like £6 for a pack. It's so nice. It's so fun. I think it's gone more expensive during my lifetime, but it's totally worth it. Love salmon, not just in Minecraft internet. Thanks, says Big Salmon. When are we adding a exclamation salmon command? Clearly that's a question. Let's work on that right now. Also, the Mexican bus story is absolutely hilarious. Yeah, unless you're Toycat, in which case it's mortifying. For everyone else, though, 10 out of 10 hilarious. Gotta say. But no, there is a more in a more serious level. What's the best place to obtain salmon? I really like I just go with the Tesco salmon. As long as it's not flavored. I feel like when they flavor it, they're trying to hide the salmon, you know, like underneath the flavorings. It's like, ooh, This salmon will not be popular by itself, but if we put someone with it, it'll be great. Anyway, my wife's sushi preference is salmon. Oh yeah, the way they do sashimi salmon, they really turn it into something special. Whole different food, basically. Whole different food. Also, wild salmon is the best. Gonna be honest with you, don't have a strong opinion on it. It's the same animal either way, I'm pretty sure. Isn't it a shame you can't get, like, wild cow? Like, yeah, it's like the same animal, we just let it out into the wild. Just to see if it, like, does anything different. I imagine it would actually be much worse. God damn it, I'm hungry now. Isn't it 1 AM where you are, Dasher? I have a, how is Haiti? I have a weird desire, because I want to go to places condensed dangerous, because there's so much beauty there, and certain people or groups who taint the image of the place. Yeah, I really liked Haiti. I think I might do, like, another weird, air quotes, dangerous trip for a similar reason. I've been looking into it for a while. I want to go to Turkmenistan. Well, I want to go to all of the stands. They sound like interesting places. But I looked up the hardest one to get into just for, like, you know, fun little challenges you do. And so yeah. Also, you can't spell Solomano without salmon. You know, it's factually accurate. Anyway, yeah, I think that we as humans tell stories very naturally. I would have to imagine there's some deeper historic reason why. Like, if stories are a way to condense facts, like both cause and effect, and also why into one reason. So instead of saying don't use a blade because it will cut you, instead you say, oh yeah, there was Stevie the sailor, and he thought he could use a blade for everything. And then he cut off his hand. You know, like, you have to imagine him in unimaginable pain or something like that. Like, do you hear about the man who found a goose, and the goose was made of gold, and so the man was selling the golden goose eggs every day, and he was making some good money doing it. And then he spoke to his wife, you know, his dumb wife, by the way, such a dumb, stupid wife. And his wife's like, you know, if we cut the golden goose open, then we'll find out where the gold is coming from, and we'll be rich forever. And so they cut the golden goose open. You know, it's really dumb. But they cut the goose open, and you know what they find on the inside of the goose? Nothing. It's a regular goose. But now he's dead. He doesn't lay any more golden goose eggs. And the point of the story is that it's an interesting tale by itself. You think of you picture a goose. You picture how, oh yeah, you shouldn't kill the goose making thing. The life lesson is never cut a goose. Yeah, never cut a goose. It's never worthwhile. There's nothing interesting inside of a goose. But more interestingly, the marshmallow goose challenge. the thing you're actually meant to take from that is like, oh yeah, there's often a really valuable part of something that you don't realize until you take it apart, and it's already too late. I think a lot of YouTubers have something like this. A lot of YouTubers are successful, but don't actually know why it is that people like them. I'll be honest, I think I went through this for a few years. Even now, sometimes I'm like, man, how did I end up in this position? I'm like one of the most introverted people out there. I've not got the best communication abilities. I am the person who is often happiest quietly not talking to anyone. But I've just spoken to you for an hour and a half straight, internet. I've done nothing but that. How did I end up in this position? And the answer is like, there's probably something about that maybe is more interesting to people. Like the sort of person who is, like, you know, the average, overly sociable person. You encounter that all over your life. But how often do you get to feel, you get the experience of being a close, intimate friend, because I don't know what it's like to talk to people who aren't that internet. Homie's got the best Bedrock videos though. Thank you, Sean Skeeter Sullivan. Sometimes though I look at that and I'm like, but there's no one who actually looks for Minecraft Bedrock videos. I've never actually heard that be a thing. That's like, every now and then it comes up on Reddit like, oh, if you like Bedrock, you might like this guy. But there are very few people who do specifically like Bedrock, right? It is a genuinely niche idea. I think that there's something that's a shame in that. Also, you're talking to a screen, technically, says Drunk Liddy. No, you're talking to a screen, excuse you. But yeah, every like one of these stories allows you to picture colorful, fun things and extreme consequences. That's basically boiling down to like, oh yeah, don't do bad things or bad things will happen to you. Like the sort of lesson that if everyone teaches it and everyone learns it will change the way things go. Even the whole like the idea that Russia invades, the Napoleon tried to invade Russia during the winter and got messed up as a result. Really, that's a story that's trying to tell people, lots of people, it's just trying to say to people, yeah, no matter how strong you are, being unprepared will be the source of your downfall. It's the basic idea behind it, right? Is if you go in to a place that is cold, unprepared for the cold, you will regret it, probably. Is there any more? Okay, there's a bunch of cobbled deep slate here. It's a simple enough message, but it's also a hard one to get, really, right? When Gretzky says you got to skate to where the puck is going, Toycat says it's just ahead of the game. Bedrock is where the puck's going. I do think Bedrock is where the puck is going, but also I've thought that for years now, and I think it's been wrong for years now. I have to be fair to anyone who bets against Bedrock. I would have said dumb idea for most of this channel, but at the same time, the existing audience for Minecraft videos on like Java, like people who get into Minecraft videos still go like, oh yeah, well they play a slightly different version of the game, but like I guess whatever. It's very interesting. I'd like to believe that it's like a smart business idea, but really it's just, this is the version I play. It's the version I love. And if there's a tale that you can take from it, one, it's that you should not eat salmon on the way to a date with a new lady, especially not if it's a Christmas party. Second lesson you should take from today is that, there's only so much time to live life, and you should live it the best you can. Be the best person you can, if only because it will be a source of happiness generation in the future. And the other thing you should take from today, if I can have more things, is the fact that I've enjoyed hanging out with everyone. I've enjoyed your time, your company, your efforts, and your attention, internet. But also, that if you enjoyed this, you might like watching me beat Minecraft with archaeology only. It's one of the videos that has taken the most like toll on the last like 8 months of me, but I hope that you enjoy it. And if you don't enjoy it, then you know that all that time is worthless. So you basically have to enjoy it for that reason alone. If you don't know, you can watch me organize cobbled deep slate into chests. I'll do this all day, every day, okay? I got the time. I can do it. Look at this. It's all in there now. Yeah, this is 6 double chests. So 12 regular chests filled with cobbled deep slate. I need to come up with a use for this soon. So I'd love to. It's gonna be a castle in the end, in the Nether, doesn't it? I mean, also the end's a good idea, but it's gotta be a castle in the Nether. I don't know what type of castle. Don't know how big, but I know it's gonna happen. So it'll be a lot of fun. Thank you for coming along today. Thank you for helping me slowly work towards my 500 member goal. And yeah, please do have a good day, because I'll see you for Q&A Saturday tomorrow. Thank you for coming along for the sugarcane. Oh, also, yeah, the one little announcement. The Let's Play is coming back soon. There'll be like a temporary episode towards the end of February. Expect to see Let's Play return. It'll be fun.